Lots of spaces are empty there. By this time people know we don't bite, so you can come from the back and occupy the spaces. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Call out the names orally. Yes. Bornali, there. Suresh Verma, there. Yes. Getting familiar with where you all are sitting. Okay. Girija, yes. Jairam, Juliana, there. Kenichi, there. And then Mary, okay. Prabhavati, saw you. Lakshmi, over here, yes. Oscar, Palak, Rudrarjun, there. And then Ramaraju, there. Rajesh, very good. Rakesh, okay. And then, yeah, very interesting. Rajesh Yadav and Rakesh Yadav. Yeah. J and K, one difference, yeah. Ritik, okay. Natarajan, there. Samrat, okay. Yesterday you were sitting over there, correct? Yeah, okay. And then Sanket, okay. Shrikant, Suman, not yet here, okay. Sundar Rajan, not here and not coming, looks like, okay. Let's cut that person out. Swamini Sachidananda, Tarun, Thiago de Matos, Tripti, Mahesh. Is Mahesh here? You came today? Okay, very good. Raikar, okay. Vinita, okay. And another Vinita, she's here? No, not here. Maybe not coming. I'll find out and then we'll see. Daniela, Deepti, Gangadhara, Miho, there. Narendra, Nivedita, Pavan, Pooja, okay. Purna, yes. Richi, Satish, Shambhavi, Shrikar, Sudhanshu, Bhaskara, Ah, there. You changed. Last 2 semesters I was used to him sitting there and I'm looking and something was not computing. Okay. Yeah. All right. Huh? Day scholars later. I'll distribute little later. At the end of class. We will do that. All right. So, that is that. We have to go through this again at around 12 o'clock. Why do you do this hourly, you may ask? No. I have invited the other Swamini ji also to come, and Purna also is here. So, we will sort out the people for various Sanskrit levels. So, that's why I have brought copies to mark intermediate, beginning, and I will give them each one copy so they know who they are going with, which students are going with which level, which teacher, like that. So, we will do that again in about an hour, all right. But in the meantime, what to do? We just talk about the Bhagavad Gita, say a few things that are very important about the text. First thing to know is that even though the Gita has been seen as a Shastra or teaching for acting, get up, fight, Arjuna, what are you doing? This is not the time to cry. Get up, fight. 100 times he is told it, and then this became like the Gita became whatever people wanted it to become. Like during the India's freedom struggle, the Gita became its own thing. They saw the words get up Arjuna and fight, and it inspired all the freedom fighters from Maharashtra, from Bengal, and they were just like, oh my God, Bhagavan is talking and Bhagavan is telling us to go fight. You see, desperate times call for desperate measures, and you are just looking for a sign. Any sign will do. And when the text, the holiest of texts called the Bhagavad Gita, is telling you to get up and fight, and you are going to do it, you feel very, very inspired by it. So some people took that, and perhaps that's why one of the myths of the Bhagavad Gita is that it is a treatise of dharma and a treatise of action which is in keeping with dharma. That is not true actually. That is not neither its vision nor its purpose. Yes, it does talk about action, it does talk about dharma, but all towards its commitment, which is actionlessness. It talks of action en route to the discussion of actionlessness as the nature of the person. So, what is the Gita then? It is Moksha Shastra, a Shastra that makes one happy. Oh, there is such a Shastra that makes one happy? That's very nice. No. Shastra doesn't make you happy. What does the Shastra do? Tells you that you are free of sorrow. Do you see the difference? Yeah. Make one happy means what? That's a lot of responsibility. That's why it doesn't work even in close relationships. I am going to marry this person to make them happy. Yes, how long did the marriage last? That's the only question you have to ask. Because it is a setup. It's a setup because you can't make anybody happy. Like you can't make the horse drink water. What can you do? You can take it up to the water. After that, it's up to the horse to drink water or not. You cannot make it drink water. Similarly, you cannot make somebody happy. And then what else can you not do? Make somebody sad. This is kind of nice, because on the first day itself, what are we learning? If somebody is sad, it's not because of me. This is again contrary to how one behaves in the world. This is what is called moksha. Moksha means freedom from longing to be happy, freedom from longing to not be unhappy, freedom from longing to belong, freedom from longing for self-approval, freedom from longing for acceptance, validation, freedom from longing for somebody to tell me I am okay. This, in short, is moksha. Moksha is freedom freedom from whatever you do not want. That is moksha. And all the things that we just now listed, we do not want them at all. Therefore, it is moksha. It's called moksha, much, to free. The Sanskrit root verb much becomes moksha when you apply a masculine suffix called ghanj, moksha. So therefore, it is a moksha shastra. Shastra means that which protects upon teaching. The teaching that protects is called shastra. So now the Gita has to be seen as not dharma shastra, not karma shastra, but what? Moksha shastra. Yeah, you just said everybody takes whatever they want from the Bhagavad Gita. Let me take whatever I want. Who are you to tell me what I see is not correct? You only said all the freedom fighters saw some action and it helped them also, and they all became very, very, that's why India became free. India got moksha. You may not, the freedom fighters may not have got moksha, but India got moksha from British control. So how can you say that this is not karma shastra? How can you say that this is not dharma shastra? If such question were to be asked, we have to say, go back and read all the commentaries about the Gita that are ancient, that are worth reading. What will you find? Moksha Shastra. All the people following Adi Shankara are convinced that it is Moksha Shastra. And you can see that karma is responsibility towards action, and the results of action is on the way to understanding that I am free of all identities and epithets, including what? Including this epithet of karta. What is karta? Doer. Bhokta. What is bhokta? What is there to enjoy? Come on, yeah. Bhokta, experiencer, yeah. Enjoyer, wishful thinking, yeah. Because by the time you say en, something happens, yeah. Enjoy, yeah. So, therefore, experiencer. These are all identities. These are all identities that we have given ourselves individually, collectively, according to the family, according to the society, etc., etc., etc. These are identities. And each and every one of them is going to be questioned in each and every chapter. Whatever identity that one has is going to be questioned, because this thing called self-knowledge is not some information that is going to be drilled here and then poured by the teacher. The guru is not drilling a hole and pouring information. That's not what this self-knowledge is at all. And what is this self-knowledge? It is the removal of misconceptions. Misconception, Mr. Conception, we have to be equal, okay? Yeah. So, whatever wrong concepts are there, all of them are removed. And so, what are we becoming free from? Wrong concepts. What is a whole bunch of wrong concepts according to which one leads life is called? What is that called? Samsara. It's all samsara is. Anybody not heard the word samsara? See how popular it is. Yeah. In a room full of people from all over the world, everybody knows the meaning of samsara. They have heard of it. How famous it is. So, this shows us that ajnana nivritti, ajnana, self-ignorance. Tasya nivrittihi, freedom from self-ignorance is equal to what we call moksha. Self-ignorance, they will tell us, is the cause of sorrow. What are you talking about? You go for a walk if you haven't done this evening, you go for a walk this side or that side. You will meet some dogs, you will meet a mummy cow. I met one yesterday. You will meet a baby cow along with it, and then you will see that all of them appear to be happier than all the people in the world put together. Does the cow know I am Devata? No? I am a holy animal in India. Does it think that? Show me at least one sign of life. Yeah, Abba, what is this fellow sitting like this? Yeah, this will not do, okay? Yeah, you have to show some signs of life. And so therefore, does the cow think I am a worshipful animal? I have ego because I am a worshipful animal. No, it doesn't think that at all. Cow doesn't think that. Dog doesn't think I am cute, I am a puppy. Or sometimes there are dogs that are not very cute. In the United States, they have ugly dog contest. Yes. First there was beautiful dog contest. That's very famous. It's called some Westminster dog show, like that they have in every state in the United States, in every area they have that. So all the good looking dogs are kept on brushing till the last minute, and then cut here, snip there, and then put a nice, collar, and trot it in front of the judge, make it jump a hoop, and then jump back, and then jump again 2-3 times, and then after that what? And then make it do a few things, sit up, beg, shake hand, all these things it will give, and then the ribbon, certificate is given. A nice certificate is given. And so then the people with ugly dogs who never have a chance to win, poor things, they started ugly dog contest. Yes. And last year's winner looked like this. Okay? It really did. Yeah. So because it had some defect in the jaws which were like that, and then the tongue was hanging out. Poor thing had to take a lot of effort to put this tongue back in, and then the owner was very, very happy. Yes, my dog got this and everything. The ugly dog was also very happy. Nicely it's wagging its tail. It doesn't think, it's a dubious distinction to get the ugliest dog prize. This is something kuch gadbad hai. It didn't think that. Did it think that? Happily it went home. The certificate was with the owner, because if the dog had received the certificate, it would have assimilated it. Okay, so therefore the certificate was far away from the dog, and like this the dog doesn't seem to care what it looks like. What about the human being? All the time cares what they look like. And with all these things that you're not allowed to bring to the class. What are they? Yeah, very sadly somebody said, oh, bye. Yeah. So all these tablet, mobile, all these things which are this thing, they are now used to take, what are they called? Selfies. And then, I don't know why this is the case, but time and again I have seen the person whips out the device from the bag, purse or pocket, and then they go. What is that? Somebody has to please enlighten me. A bout of madness? Bout of madness. No. Then why do you call it bout? Pout. Ah, yeah. It is a pout, all right. Yeah. So something, the face comes like this, and then the eyes are all like this somehow, like one has to wonder whether they are open or not. They are in Bhagavan's temple's eyes, little kataksha, little bit open. And this is what it is. And in Florida, there's an alarming rise of young women getting permanent, what is that called? Surgery. A nip here, a tuck there, and all these things. Nip tuck. What is this? You're putting your face under a sewing machine or what? But that's what it looks like. And all these young girls, hardly 18, 19, just little more than that, between 18 to 24, these young things, they want to permanently look like that. I'm not going to make that face, but again, once was more than enough. I'll need a massage now to recover. But the idea is, this is how I should look in order to be what is considered beautiful. So sad, very, very sad. So much self-consciousness about how one looks. And this is not just now. Even like 40 years ago, Svatmavidyananda ji, Pujya Swamiji would tell a story that there was a woman in his class. Everybody, he would just make people laugh, as you will find out, because we are going to do a wonderful video course on the message of the entire Bhagavad Gita during the satsang time. And then he would find out, he wanted to find out why, even though he told the best of jokes, everybody laughed except for this one lady. It looked like she wanted to laugh, but she would go and keep quiet. And so the more she did not laugh, the more Swamiji became determined to make her laugh. And in fact, that particular retreat had the best of jokes, all because of this person. Avantara phalam, accidental fruits for everybody. And then finally, he cracked her on the last possible day, and then she couldn't stand it any longer, and she laughed. And then Swamiji, after the class, complimented her, "You have such a nice laugh. Why did you not laugh all these days?" "No, Swamiji, I don't like my teeth." And Swamiji named it dental complex. Complex connected to teeth, a very complex issue. So don't smile, or smile in a particular way, or do this, do that. So much self-consciousness. Self-consciousness means I am conscious of myself. That's all it should mean. But alas, in the human being, self-consciousness not only means I am conscious of myself, it also means I am disapproving of myself. Because self-consciousness is there in dog also, cat also, in the ugly dog also. Self-consciousness is there, but it does not amount to suffering. It knows itself. It knows I am a dog. It doesn't think I should I don't know, I'm having an identity crisis, I'm small in size, maybe I'm a cat, should I meow or bark? It doesn't think like that. Self-consciousness is there to recognize itself and other species. But self-consciousness is not enough for it to say, I suffer from a sense of lack centered on the self, which is why I am searching, which is why I am doing. Therefore, I have to get rid of this particular complex of searching and doing for something that is already the truth of me. This is what it has to understand. The human being does not understand this. Why? Because does not know who one is, and therefore takes oneself to be who one is not. First kind of mistake. What is one not? One is not mortal. But what do I take myself to be? Mortal. I am subject to death. Oh, I am anxious, I am frightened. Frightened of planes, I may die. Frightened of any other thing, I may die. Like that character who is known as the father of tragedy, forgot his name, but he had the fear of death. So afraid, I'm going to die. Then he went to an oracle. Does everybody know oracle? Not the computer language, okay? Yeah. What is oracle? Where you throw some shells or stones or coins and find out some things about the future. In Greece, in a place called Delphi, it's a famous oracle of Delphi. And there were some priestesses who told him, because he couldn't stand it any longer, he was so frightened of death, he thought, if I know how I'm going to die, then I will not be afraid, because then I can avoid that. See, Lord Yama is not very easy to avoid, all right? You will meet him on your walk every day. What? Don't be scared, okay? You will just see some bodies burning, that's all I mean. So, you will meet Lord Yama on your walk, means that's what it is. There is a ghat on the shore of the Ganga. So, Lord Yama cannot be fobbed off. Lord Yama is the what's its name? The Devata of death. And then, so therefore what? So therefore, it's like death is inevitable. So how are you going to stop it? He just thought, I can conquer it if I know how I'm going to die. So they shook the coins, put the coins, and they did a reading for him. And in the reading it was prophesied, you will die with a house falling on your head. Then he got very scared, because he is living in what? A house. So then this may fall, he got all the foundations, everything checked, so far so good, but then it may fall any time, we don't know. Suddenly there could be one weak link and one thing from the roof, and if it just hits the head, finished, gone. Traumatic brain injury and death. So then he thought, let me be very clever and sleep in the courtyard. So 2 nights went like that. He was what? Happy, because in the courtyard there was no roof and it was nice, but there were houses nearby. His own house was right there, another house in the back, front, all these houses were there, and all of them could collapse on him. Could not sleep. And then went where? Somewhere into the forest, where he would just roam around, and finally died after an eagle which was carrying a turtle in its mouth, a tortoise or a turtle. Which one is smaller, tortoise or turtle? Turtle is smaller? Okay. And yeah, it's a little difficult to know the difference, but took the turtle in its mouth and was looking for a nice surface to hit that and separate the turtle from the shell. Saw this fellow's bald head in the sun, shining, and then thought, let me aim it there. And the poor fellow died on the spot. And the oracle was right. The shell of the turtle is its house, and he did die with a house falling on the head. So like this, the fear of death dogs everybody, and one wants to keep on staving that, putting that aside, and not coming under the spell of the fear of death. This is one problem. Taking myself to be what I am not. What does the Shastra tell? What does the Gita say? Gita says you are avyaya. Avyaya means not subject to death. You are the same always. Nitya, avyaya. All these words have come in the chapters we have studied so far and will continue to come also. You are nitya, you are avyaya, you are forever. This is what is called not just not knowing. Not knowing is called agrahanam, not knowing, not grasping what I am. But unlike the dog, the cow, our brains work extra hard because the self-consciousness is complete. It is not a programmed self-consciousness, it's not an inhibited self-consciousness, it is a self-consciousness that is free, full and complete. That's why I am free enough to come to judgments about myself. I am not good enough, I am this, I am that, I have a complex, I have problems, I have to look better, I have to look a certain way, I have to have these things in order to be better, I have to get rid of certain things in order to be better. This is what this is what is called anyatha grahanam. Agrahanam number 1, anyatha grahanam number 2. What is anyatha grahanam? Taking myself to be not what I am. Not taking myself to be what I am. Both of these are called anyatha grahanam. Taking myself wrongly. This is what the dog and cat do not do. Therefore, Vedanta is for whom? Human beings, correct. Even though they say, I get this, emails and WhatsApp texts all the time. Swaminiji, my dog is taking your class, look. And then they will put one iPad in front of the dog like that. Here's the dog lying down and looking at it. Poor dog, I feel sad for it, and they'll take one photo and send it to me. And then I have to tell them, your dog does not need Bhagavad Gita, your dog does not need to study the Upanishad. You need to study the Upanishad. And your dog is not studying the Upanishad. What is it doing? Simply undergoing this art installation because you made it sit there. And out of love for you, it is undergoing some tribulations and suffering because it is made to sit a certain way. That's all it's doing. It is sitting there because you are there. If you get up and go, it will no longer be interested in Mundakopanishad, for sure. Yeah. So therefore, the whole problem is of non-acceptance. Non-acceptance of what I am because I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am, ajnanam, non-acceptance of whatever I think I am, that is anyatha jnanam, and the suffering that anyatha jnanam or anyatha grahanam, both are same, both of them cause the same kind of suffering. Why I am like this? That is bad enough, sad enough. Then the next one is what? Why somebody else is like that? How come they are like this and I am not like them? This constant comparison, this constant relentless push to look a certain way, to be a certain way, to do certain things, all of this makes us what? Makes us a sad, sad set of people. Very, very sad. And so therefore the Gita Shastra or the Upanishad, both of them are called what? Vedanta Shastra. Vedanta Shastra is to remove these misconceptions about the I centered on oneself. That is moksha. That is its purpose. Because otherwise one will be constantly plying in this world under self-judgment, self-non-acceptance, self-critique, self-loathe. All these are what? Samsara. This is what samsara is. And then what does the Shastra say? This is not you. None of these are you. You are not any one of them. And if the Bhagavad Gita were to be a nice, in some cities they have very nice ones, botanical garden, then we can just look into it and see what is the flora here, what are we looking at, what does it look like, what's going on here. So we'll take a little tour of this garden, and then what do we see? What do we see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita? We see two armies, right? We see two armies facing one another. And wait, and then all the kettle drums are banging. The war has been declared. And if you want to take a photo of the war, you have to duck down. There may be an arrow coming, it's flying past your head. You are suddenly transported in time. You are here looking at the Gita garden. And then what do you see? Right in the middle, of the two armies, there is one sobbing sound. Who is that? Arjuna crying. Arjuna crying, so much so that he has flooded the chariot, and he is sitting there and crying, and this is what we see. It's dull, kind of grey, as though the weather is matching Arjuna's tears. Why is he crying? Any idea? Show me that sign of life again. Because he had to fight a war. Very good. He had to fight a war he didn't want to fight. That is what it was. So anybody made to do what they don't like, what do they end up doing? Crying. Yeah. This is what tears are all about. We understand this from the Bhagavad Gita itself. And here he is sitting and crying. He's made to fight a war that he doesn't want to fight. This is what he says. We mustn't take people on their face, because they may say many, many things. But is that really true? Just take a look back. Take a look back. And what was he doing before the war? For 12 years, the Mahabharata story tells us that he was in the forest. Why was he in the forest? He was in the forest along with all the other princes, all his brothers, because he had been evicted to the forest from the palace. He was evicted and sent off to the palace for 12 years. Why would anybody do that to their kin, next of kin? Who did that? His own cousins, who had very funny names. Duryodhana, Dushasana. Dushasana means badly behaved. Like this. Who will name their children badly behaved? Anybody tell? Yeah? I think his name must have been Suyodhana and Sushasana, but they behaved so badly that the Su turned into Dus. Dus means it's a bad prefix. Anything that the word dus, comes in front of makes it difficult, bad. So all his cousins, and there were 101 of them, not one, not two, not three, 101 of them, 100 men and one woman. And so all of them against him and his brothers, and we see that this was a rivalry that did not start just before the war. This was a lifelong rivalry, and in fact to call it rivalry is not quite justified, even though the history books may call it rivalry. It's not justified. Rivalry means there should be enmity on both sides. What do you call a relationship which from one side is just accepting and loving no matter what the other person does? What do you call such a relationship? One-sided relationship. You are being very, very generous. The trending words these days are toxic. Yeah, I don't know why people love this word, toxic. Before you only had to deal with poison and overdosing of certain medicines and all. Now everything is toxic. Toxic means sick of talking. That's all it is. Yeah. It is a toxic relationship. Why? Because it is one-sided, and not only one-sided, it's one thing if you are loving and giving and the other person is not giving, that's one-sided, yes, I agree. But here you are loving and giving and the other person is kicking you. What is that called? A dysfunctional relationship and a toxic relationship. And if you want to get really, really trendy, the trendiest word that you can use, what is that called? Psychological parlance, psychological jargon that you can use is trauma bonded relationship. What is this new thing? Trauma bonded? Trauma everybody understands, right? Yeah, trauma means traumatic. Any way in which the relationship is causing more hurt and pain and sorrow than joy is called a traumatic relationship. Traumatic relationship we know, but what is this trauma bonded relationship? Trauma bonded relationship means because the person who is on the other side, who is loving, giving, caring no matter what, does not know, because of certain things in the past or their own past life experiences, does not know what a functional relationship, what a loving relationship should be like. Therefore, they have got caught in this relationship where even though they are kicked every day, even though they are cheated every day, even though they are defrauded every day, they still go back like a puppy. The tail wags the dog. It is wagging it so hard. The tail is wagging the dog, not the dog wagging the tail. And then they go back again and again and get kicked and come back, lick the wounds for some time and then go back again and again. Why do they go back? Because they don't know what a regular relationship should look like. They don't know. And sadly, Arjuna and his brothers, it looks like they have a trauma-bonded relationship with the other side. You see, father dies. Pandu, the father, dies. And then, after that, the children are with the mother, Kunti, and two of them belong to Madri. Madri also committed suicide when the husband died. Pandu died, and then they come back and the kingdom rightfully belongs to them. But they are minors, and so Dhritarashtra is the one who is taking care of the kingdom. Even though there is a Dharma Shastra. What is the Dharma Shastra? A blind person cannot become a king, must not become a king. Meaning, you have to have some, you have to be able to see what is going on, and if you can't do that, it is difficult to run the kingdom. That is why. So then, but then he was not able to see at all. He was blind since birth, and he was running the country also, and then not providing proper guidance to his children. Why not? Because he was also trauma bonded with them. That's why. He had moha, not so much a trauma bond as a moha. Moha means a deluded sense of love, protection, attachment, etc. Because of which he was extremely loath to discipline them. And if you don't discipline, how do they grow up? Like wild seed. In fact, they grew up like wild seed, reckless, and always with a sense of lack. Perhaps they did not have eye contact from their mother. They did not have that. They did not have a loving look from the parents. Maybe that was what it was. We don't know. But even though they grew up in the same palace, wore the same finery, got educated by the same acharyas, they still had one big chip on the shoulder. These people are the rightful inheritors. We have been pushed out, and then they started to traumatize them. And the Pandavas were softies. They just kept making excuses. This is one more example of one more criterion in the trauma bonded relationship. What do? You make excuses for the other person. Oh, they didn't know better. Oh, they are flying off the handle because they are stressed. Oh, poor things. One makes excuses for them. Arjuna also was doing the same thing in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, making excuses for them. They don't know any better. They have come under a terrible spell of greed. It will be okay. And really, if they want to have this kingdom, let them have it. Why should they have it? No, poor things, they want it, let them have it. Then you should have given to them before itself. Why did you fight for the kingdom, and why were you chanting mantras for 12 years to keep the powder dry and to keep the mantra-powered missiles activated? Mantra-powered missiles are kept activated because of what? Because of this, the power of the mantras. Today's smart bombs are nothing. Those mantra-powered missiles were meant for one person, and they would chase that person to the ends of the earth and just get that person. That was called no civilian casualties. None at all in the war. Unlike, this war that's going on the first day itself, one bomb was dropped over a small school, with small children there. That never happened in the Mahabharata. The casualties were no civilian casualties because of these mantra-powered missiles. You know what Arjuna was doing for 12 years? For 12 years he was chanting those mantras and powering up all the things, building up his arsenal, went even to Kailasa and got Pashupatastra from Lord Shiva. And he was preparing. And so that shows that he too, despite the trauma bond, was heartily sick of them. And when do you get completely sick? When someone draws the line and crosses that line. When someone crosses the line of sheer decency, human mutual respect, humanity, that is when these people saw the light. Till then they were keeping on making excuses. That's when they said this war cannot be staved off. This war has to happen, it cannot be staved off. thinking like this, they were very much ready to fight. What was that boundary they crossed? They crossed the boundary of trying to shame their wife Draupadi. All 5 of them were married to one woman. That the reasons for that, we'll have to do it during satsang question or something like that. We don't have the time to go into that now. So all 5 of them were married to who? Draupadi. She was a great princess, very vocal, and even though in the Hindu Shastra, in the Hindu tradition, women and children are never considered property. Even though knowing that, the Pandavas staked Yudhishthira, who had a weakness for gambling, staked the wife as well as the kingdom. And then what? Then they tried to shame her and disrobe her in public, which is when she cries out to Lord Krishna, "Are you going to just see this?" And Lord Krishna kept on making her wear new wonderful saris, as though she was in a fashion show. And Dushasana would rip up one and then put it on one side, and no sooner she would be dressed in another gorgeous sari, another one. Finally he had to sit down. He had repetitive stress injury on both the hands. He was just tired. He wanted massage. He was very, very tired. Then what happened? Then that was the line they crossed. And Draupadi, being very vocal, Draupadi basically called all of them choice 4-letter words in Sanskrit and told them that they were just a useless bunch of people. And even though she was married to 5 men, not one of them could be on her side or protect her. And she was very, very upset. And in fact, Duryodhana looked at her and motioned to his lap and said like this, "Come and sit." He looked at her and motioned to her and said, "Come and sit on the lap," which she took it as a terrible insult. And she said, "Until I get blood from his thigh, I will not do my hair." She grew dreadlocks. You know what dreadlocks are? Yeah, she grew dreadlocks throughout because she was not combing the hair. It all got matted, and this was the condition they were in. They were not opposed to the war at all. Not in the slightest were they opposed to the war. Even though we say he was crying because he did not want to fight the war. It's not that he didn't want to fight the war. He did not want to fight these people. Who are these people? His own cousins to start with, and then all the people who should have been on his side because he was the righteous one. He had not usurped the kingdom of anybody. He had not mistreated women. He had not done any such thing. And so therefore what? So therefore, since he had not done it, he had a clear conscience, but still he made excuses for them. We see him making excuses for them and then trying to say that, oh, they were in the spate of some impulsiveness. Next time they will not do that. Okay, after all they are still my people. And even though all the elders have gone to the wrong side, I should not kill the elders. How can I kill my guru? Who is the guru here? Dronacharya. Guru of what? Archery. Not Vedanta guru, archery guru. How can I do this? How can I do that? Like saying like this. And he was in the middle of the battlefield, overcome with a sense of smallness. And we see him, as we enter this Gita garden, we see him crying, and we see him talking also. What does he say? He says, this is, how can I wage war against these people who are worthy of puja, who are worthy of worship? I should be worshipping these people. They are my elders. They are amazing. They have taught me so much. I have played in their laps. And then what are you trying to tell me to do? I should just fight against them? This is not possible at all. And so, saying he felt feverish. He had the first full-blown panic attack known to humankind. And what did he do? He said, I'm feverish and I'm seeing bad omens. Apparently some jackals were howling at the start of the war. Jackals were howling all the time, but they noticed it and said, this is a bad omen. Like you see one black cat every day, but then no problem. But then you saw it on the day you had a job interview. Oh no! So like this, he becomes superstitious. He is not able to focus. His mind is all over the place. And then the final words, the famous last words he says is na yotsye. Yotsye means future tense. I will not fight. I will not fight. Na yotsye. Na yotsye he Govinda. O Govinda, O Krishna, I will not fight. Uktva, having said that, tushnim babhuvaha. He became extremely silent, sunk into the chariot, sat down on the chariot. If you sit down on the chariot, that means you have lost the battle. You have to be standing. And a warrior of his caliber sat down on the chariot and then was not able to fight. What is that called? Paralyzed. Paralyzed response. It is called deer in the headlight. You are driving in the rural area and a deer just comes, sees the headlight, and it doesn't even know, I better cross the road quickly. Doesn't even know that. So therefore, this particular area of the garden, grey and dull, is where all the vegetation is watered by Arjuna's tears. This comprises the message of the first chapter. Then we go a little bit into the next area, which is what? Very sunny, very bright, tranquil. Sunny, bright and tranquil. Magically, that grey looking chariot is here, but it's not grey at all. And even Arjuna does not look any longer grey. Of course, Krishna continues to be blue, don't worry about that. And then everything is brighter, much more clear. And this is the chapter, a very auspicious chapter on many, many counts. The first reason why it is an auspicious chapter is because it has, what's its name? It has the auspicious beginning. And what is the auspicious beginning? Auspicious beginning is where Arjuna asks for a teacher. Where are you going to find a teacher in the battlefield? Huh? It's like going to Triveni market and saying, I need a guru, anybody there? Yeah. You won't get. In order to get guru, where do you have to go? Ashram you have to go. Or you have to go to the forest where the teachers are. So you can't look for a teacher in the battlefield. But fortunately for Arjuna, Krishna is right there. It is a person who he sees as a mentor, a guide, a friend. But now he sees in him a teacher. So from this part of the Bhagavad Gita, we recognize that you don't have to, you don't have to have a certain set role. The friend can easily become a teacher. This is how it is in the Shastra. Uddalaka became a teacher for who? Shvetaketu, his own son. Yagyavalkya became a teacher for Maitreyi, his own wife. So like this, Haimavati Uma, who was a goddess, became a teacher for Indra. So like this, we have many examples in the Upanishads, and the Upanishads, the message of the Upanishads is the same as the message of the Bhagavad Gita, from which it has liberally borrowed without any regard for international copyright laws. Nothing. It has in fact taken everything verbatim from the Kathopanishad and some other Upanishads also, and then put it there in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it's the same source. In fact, that's why it is also called as what? Gitopanishad. Gitopanishad. And so therefore, this is the premise for the second chapter. For the second chapter to unfold, something drastic, something big has to happen, and the big event of the second chapter, one big event, the first big event is Arjuna becoming Krishna's disciple. And you don't hear, you can say, oh yeah, will you be my teacher? You're taking a jog and you see the person on the road. Hi, yay, hey, namaste, etc. Will you be my teacher? And the person says yes, and you keep jogging. No, it's not like the modern day. Taking somebody on as a teacher was serious business in those times, because it meant you are submitting to be transformed. That is what the reason to take a teacher is. Submitting to be transformed from all these notions that you have about yourself, about the Jagat, about other jivas, about even God, Ishvara. You are ready to come out of those notions, and you are ready to be instructed. That means you have trust. Trust pending understanding. What is that called in Sanskrit? Shraddha. Shraddha, very good. So you have trust, you have respect, and you ask this person to teach you. After that, the old relationship is completely severed. The old relationship is not there, at least for the time of teaching. If it's not severed, it's at least suspended. It is totally suspended. And so this is a very auspicious beginning. Asking for a teacher in the middle of a battlefield and finding one right there. It's like a person asking for water in the desert and then finding it right there. So Arjuna is very fortunate, and so are we. Why are we fortunate? He found a teacher. No, why should I be fortunate? Huh? Show me the third sign of life right about now. Yes, and we are studying them now. That's why we are fortunate, and we have been keeping on studying them for the last 5,000 years. They say never ask a lady her age, but the Gita is 5,000 years old. Yeah, she is 5,000 years old. After that you stop counting, all right? And so you see, in all these years, how many teachers and how many students who then became teachers, who then had students, who then became teachers, who then had students, how many generations have gone by? But the Gita continues to instruct us, to inform us, to teach us, and to take us from ignorance to knowledge. Ignorance about the I, self-ignorance, agrahanam, divided into two, agrahanam and anyathagrahanam, to knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is freedom, freedom from samsara. So that is the first auspicious thing that we find in chapter 2, in this wonderful area where the chariot is parked, where you can see the battlefield clearly, and like the narrator of the Bhagavad Gita, who is that? Sanjaya. You can also see what is happening, and then you may then ask the question. What is the question? What is the second auspicious thing in the second chapter? That we'll find out tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.